Blessed be everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about how did I know that I was a witch. But before we do, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com, author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path and Tapping into Abundance. And if you want to know more about Wicca and witchcraft, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. And if you want to know where to start your witchcraft practice, but you're confused by everything out there, then you can look at my free masterclass. It is called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. The link is in the description field below this video. So how did I know that I was a witch? Well, it wasn't so much knowing that I was a witch. There's always this thing, you know, you're born a witch, you can become a witch, all of this sort of stuff. I don't really care too much for that. It's more a case of I resonated with what witches do, or what I read that witches do at the time, because I, like most people, I came to the knowledge of witchcraft and Wicca through books. And so I resonated with what I was reading, I resonated with the activities, I resonated with what witches do. So that's how I knew that witchcraft was for me. I don't necessarily identify so much with being a witch or a Wiccan or anything particularly. Labels are helpful to organize things and to help with communication, but I try not to get too attached to labels because they can be a bit of a trap for the ego, unfortunately, and we can get so identified with the label that we actually detach ourselves from who we truly are, thinking that we're the label when really we're more than the label. We're more than that definition. A witch is a person that does certain things that categorize them as a witch. So that's simply how I work with the term witch, or any other being thing that a person does, like whether somebody's a gardener or somebody is of another religion, or somebody does something or is part of a group that has a name. That's simply what you're doing and being. It's a part of you, but it's not all of you. You know, there's more to life than being a witch. It's a big part of your spirituality, but there's a lot more to you than just those particular activities. So what it felt like for me when I read about witchcraft and this is back in the 1990s when I was really getting into it, was the spirit of it. It was the magic of it, but the spirit of it. This feeling of coming home to who I am, in a spiritual sense, coming home to my being a creator, coming home to being one with the earth, coming home to working with the earth, coming home to resonating with the divine feminine as well as the masculine, coming home to the freedom to be who I really am without the you should or you shouldn'ts stopping me from being able to be who I really am. So that was what the coming home felt like, and that's what I resonated with. The symbolism of witchcraft was something I really resonated with as well, such as the pentagram. And whilst that may not have always been a symbol of witches, particularly from different cultures that don't use the pentagram, for me and the culture that I come from, the pentagram was something I did resonate with, because it is a beautiful symbol of the elements and working with spirit, or even working with your shadow self and being able to bring the elements into creating something, or a spirit creating in the world with the elements, and working with the elements to connect back up to spirit is the way that I sort of see the pentagram. Working with the moon, the connection with the lunar energies, honoring the full moon and the new moon. Working with the cycles of the moon, so those feminine cycles, rather than having to always be that goal-oriented energy all of the time, which is more the masculine energy, being able to be at peace with the cyclicity of the feminine aspect in divinity was really helpful and very liberating. Working with the divine feminine was very necessary for me in my very early days, because I grew up in a religion that was totally masculine, and so I really felt that the feminine not only was sort of second to the masculine, but it was almost like there was no divine feminine. It was only like a divine masculine. So to have working with the goddess was really important to me personally. It was something that one of the major things I think I resonated with was working with the divine feminine. And working with magic, of course. What I love about magic is that the more we get into it, the more we realize that it's all about creating. You know, we are the creators. We get to create. We don't get to just be puppets on a string. We actually do get to consciously create, which means if we all consciously created the lives that we want from the heart, the world would be a very, very different place. Like, it would be unrecognizable. We have this amazing capacity to create, and so witchcraft teaches us how to do that through the various different types of magic that we use, which tends in witchcraft to be more sympathetic magic or folk magic type. But these days, with all of the resources that we have available to us, a lot of the ceremonial magical things and Kabbalistic magic has entered into the craft as well, so there's a lot more variety of magic to choose from. But I still like working with the herbs, working with the earth, because the connection to earth was what really was another thing that helped me connect with the whole being a witch thing, was connecting to Mother Earth and working with the cycles of the earth and working with the earth, connecting with the earth, working with the earth in spellcraft, the herbs, even working with the oils, and of course the colors and the seasons. And I do love working with candle magic, so working with the element of fire. Working with the elements is another thing I really resonated with. I always had this interest in the elements, like the flames, the air, the wind, and the earth and the water. So these are things that I resonated with, and when I was able to connect with them from a spiritual point of view, they came alive a lot more. And it's this fullness of life that you can have as a witch, where you aren't feeling like you're being judged, that there isn't the shoulds and shouldn'ts going on. Certainly there are things that are wise to do and things that aren't wise to do. And when it comes to ethics, there certainly is unwise things to do, but the reason for not doing them isn't because it's, you know, good or it's bad. It's actually to do with the outcomes that make you realize that, you know, they're not wise things to do, because you always end up getting what you put out back to you in some way, shape or form. It's like the universe is like a mirror, and it's always mirroring back what you put out, and that's what magic is. So if you want a life with joy and happiness and compassion, then you have to actually be putting that out in the world, not the opposite. So that's understanding magic too. The whole research that's being done with the law of attraction, with quantum mechanics and quantum science, the work of people like Joe Dispenza, who are investigating this whole thing of being the creators of our own lives, is all to do with magic. But it's been able to have now some technology where we can start to measure and weigh energy. So we can measure energy and know when energy goes up in a room and what's going on with energy to some degree. We can see what goes on in the brain when people are doing magical manifestation work. So a lot of this magical knowledge that comes from our witchcraft history and magical history in general is now we're starting to see it from a scientific point of view, and that is very exciting as well. So it makes a lot more people witches really than people may suspect that they are. So if you resonate with those things, then yes, you can certainly be a witch too. It isn't something that you have to be born into from a familial point of view. It's just something that you are. You've probably always been resonating with those things in some way, shape or form in past lives, And this is the definition that we give it in this life. Maybe in a past life you couldn't call yourself a witch, but maybe you belonged to another religion in a past life, but you still did pretty much the same things, maybe a little bit undercover. It doesn't matter so much what we call ourselves, it's really the practices that we do and how connected we are to the practices. So if you feel very connected to witchcraft, in whatever shape or form that is, then certainly enjoy your connection and explore your connection. If you want to learn witchcraft with me, I do have a 12-month course in witchcraft where we do explore the Western form of witchcraft, working with the Sabbats, working with the lunar energies, magic, energy work, and also that connecting with yourself so that you can bring your craft into your life in a way that gives your life more meaning and become more of the creator in your life rather than feeling like things are just out of control all the time. So if you're interested in doing that, the link to the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy is in the description field below this video. I also wanted to thank everybody who have donated to me either via PayPal or the super thanks through YouTube. That is awesome. It's really very helpful to keep the YouTube channel going, basically. So thank you for that. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.